Now that Christine's out, she's given the property over to us. It's just me, Meri, Robyn, and Janelle that are owners on it. So there would be Robyn's 4 acres and then Janelle's 4 acres.
I have a lawyer. Kody's not really talking to me about what he wants to do. He's not acting excited or enthused or even like wanting to move forward with this. And I would just assume he'd buy me out, but I just want to get this resolved. And
there is absolutely no way Janelle went to Meri, a woman she once plotted to secretly marry and spent years calling abusive because of her picky kitchen standards, and casually discussed major financial dealings without thinking Meri would tell Kody&Robyn. I mean, come on, what did she think would happen? Meri's the only one in the group who actually knows how to hustle, so Janelle probably thought, oh, Meri will get the lawyers involved, and I can just sit back and do nothing as usual. And let's not ignore the looks on Kody&Robyn's faces. You can just tell they're scheming to screw over Meri and Janelle. Meri obviously threw out what Janelle said to see how they'd react, and in true Meri fashion, she calmly followed it up with, I'd like an appraisal, because, well, she's not about to take everything at face value like the others seem to. She's not a fool. Also, seriously, screw Kody for belittling Meri's solo trip. He probably has no idea what Stonehenge even is. The whole way this is being talked about is honestly insane. Meri is dropping so many hints that she and Janelle are in on something. She's not bad-mouthing Janelle, but she's absolutely letting Kody&Robyn know that she's going to be more involved in the land division and will be taking legal steps to make sure they don't pull any fast ones. She's laying the groundwork, and honestly, she's getting a kick out of messing with them since Kody's not dangling the relationship carrot in front of her anymore. The discomfort she's causing? Priceless, and I am here for it. Plus, she did an incredible job getting Kody&Robyn to repeatedly say, on camera, that of course the land value will be split evenly. Meri knew exactly what she was doing, and I'd bet Janelle knew what she was doing too, by roping Meri into this. Kody's Janelle doesn't even like Meri comment, Gross, isn't this the same guy who's always preaching about his religious beliefs? So what if Janelle doesn't like Meri? What does that even have to do with doing the right thing? Aren't you supposed to be decent? Kody just can't help but expose his rotten little heart. He's still trying to turn everyone against each other. He can't stand the fact that Janelle and Meri can get along in any capacity. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel reality Nexus X. The Kody sure has a lot to say about how the land is more valuable with trees than without. But funny thing, he's also the first one to grab an axe and start chopping them down, stripping them of their bark as if he's preparing for a lumberjack competition. Now, with this whole CP land mess, it's pretty clear what he's up to. He's trying to get every last dime out of the trees before the ownership of the land changes hands. After all, Meri and Janelle are miles away from the land, so who's going to stop him from turning the place into his own personal cash cow? From what I can tell, the land is full of pine trees, though honestly, I can't identify the exact species. They look like they've been around for a while though, and are pretty mature. I'm not exactly a lumber expert, but based on a quick Google search, here's what I learned. To figure out how much a pine tree is worth, you can calculate its area and multiply it by the unit cost. For instance, if a tree has a diameter of 20 inches, the radius is 10 inches. The area would be 10x 10x 3.14 equals 314 inches. Multiply that by a unit cost of $37.67 per inch and boom, that tree is worth over $11,000. So yeah, it's pretty safe to assume that's why Kody's so obsessed with cutting them down. He's not just enjoying the view of a few less trees. He's selling the lumber off Meri and Janelle's land, cashing in before the official ownership transfer goes through. And considering he openly admitted to wanting to screw over Janelle, it's not exactly a stretch to think he's making a quick buck off the trees. Oh, And let's not forget the little teaser we got from a preview where Saul is now out there chopping wood. Funny how that used to be Garrison and Gabe's job, huh? Now it's Saul's turn to join the tree slaughtering squad. However, before anyone thinks Kody's selling logs, let's get something straight. He's not. He's just cutting the trees down for firewood, which, if you're wondering, is a whole lot less lucrative than selling the wood as lumber. And here's the kicker. If he were really in it for the money, he wouldn't be stripping the bark and cutting the trees one at a time. Those trees would be worthless that way. No, the real money comes from a proper clear cut, all in one swoop, kind of like pulling off a heist. Oh, the subtlety of Kody's interactions with Meri. Let's talk about the magical moment when Meri passionately discusses her love for Stonehenge, and Kody just stares at her like she's speaking in a completely foreign language. Not a word, not a nod, just dead silence. And Robyn? Oh, she gracefully gets up and walks away. Because why wouldn't she? This isn't just a reality show, it's a masterclass in subtle manipulation. These two clearly think that if they stay completely stone-faced and disengaged, the producers won't air the clip. Oh, how clever. Except, surprise, the silence speaks volumes. It paints a perfect picture of how utterly self-absorbed Kody is, showing just how little he actually cares about Meri, her interests, or her life. But don't worry, Kody did take the time to explain it later, in the confessional, where he casually admits to having selective memory and only caring about things that interest him. Oh, and by the way, Christine and Janelle both backed him up, saying the only way to engage him is to talk about his own interests. So, it's not that he forgets or doesn't care about Meri's passions. It's just that he never did care about them in the first place. Classic Kody. It's almost tragic how Meri seems to be the last one of the original three to fully grasp how emotionally disconnected her marriage was. She spent over 3 decades loving a man who wouldn't even engage when she talked about something important to her. But don't worry, Kody made sure to clarify his stance in the confessional, where he proudly claimed that his complete lack of interest in her life was just being a man. Oh please, let's not confuse basic decency with masculinity. His behavior is just an excuse for being a self-centered jerk, and he knows it. And Robyn, she's so subtle with her disapproval. As Meri reflects on the past and wonders when they stopped caring about each other, Robyn pulls the old "I'm so inconvenienced by this conversation" routine, asking if she should leave, then proceeds to get up and pretend she needs something. She even rolls her eyes during Kody's hug with Meri. What a performance! The fake tears, the concern, it's all an act. Actions speak louder than words, and Robyn's actions. Yeah, they're loud and clear. She's just as self-serving as Kody. The bottom line, the more Meri distances herself from Kody and Robyn, the better off she'll be. Whether or not it means missing time with their kids, it's probably worth it to escape the toxicity they so effortlessly exude. So, what was Robyn's deal, exactly? When Meri called Kody out for not knowing she was into Stonehenge, after 30 years of marriage, Robyn suddenly pulled out her best "I'm too good for this" face and stormed off from the table. Like what? The conversation wasn't even about her. I went back and rewatched that part, and the thing that really stood out about Robyn's feelings was the way she literally rolled her eyes when Kody gave Meri a hug. Like, I hope Meri watches the footage and finally realizes exactly how Robyn feels about her. Now that Meri's finally leaving, she's made it clear that she's done with all the marriage talk between Kody and the other women. She's over it. She didn't want to hear it anymore, and frankly, she doesn't care anymore. She knows this is the last time she'll see Meri, so why bother pretending? When their marriage came up, Robyn just couldn't hide her irritation anymore. She let her true feelings spill out and stormed off, acting like a tantrum-throwing child who couldn't handle the reality of being married to a polygamist. For me, this scene was the final proof that Robyn never really cared about the rest of the family. Some people think her being the favorite wife was the downfall of everything, and sure, maybe that was part of it. But I don't think Robyn ever really wanted to be in a plural marriage. She just didn't know how to handle the fact that she was the favorite. In this moment, though, it was clear she was done playing the game. She was ready to ride off into the sunset with Kody and her nice, cushy life, leaving everyone else behind. Meri's exit was just the final piece of that puzzle. I don't think Robyn came into this family with a plan to destroy it, but let's be real, she didn't come in with a deep desire for love or family either. Financial security? That was definitely on her radar. She could tolerate the rest, but as soon as people started calling out her special treatment, it was time to push them out of the picture. If they left, great, but she had to make sure she didn't look too okay with it. That's why she kept up the whole soul-crushed act until the very last season when there was no one left to fool. In this scene, she was absolutely ready for Meri to leave, like for good. Her true colors have been showing a lot this season, and it's becoming more and more obvious that she's over the performance. In past seasons, she was more careful, playing the victim, but now, she's getting way cattier in the talking heads, and there's a distinct vibe of I don't care anymore coming through. Now it's just a matter of saying whatever she has to say to the crew to get through it. Anyone else tear up watching Meri? The way she took off to England all on her own, not just to London, but all the way to Scotland. I'm genuinely so proud of her. I love her. The thought of her alone in another country does tug at the heartstrings, but honestly, she's a total badass for doing it. I'm in awe. On the other hand, it's sad to see Kody can't even remember that Meri has a love for Stonehenge. How do you forget that, dude? And wasn't Kody basically admitting he chose Robyn over his kids when he said, "They want me if I leave Robyn behind, but I won't do that." That's just, no, total BS. He's trying to shift the blame onto Robyn, saying that's why the kids don't come around. No, Kody, they're not coming around because they don't like you. Honestly, take all the complaints people have about Robyn and switch the name to Kody, and that's the truth. He's using her to make himself look like some noble martyr. That ship sailed a while ago, buddy. But I'm living for Meri's new steel-eyed determination. No more playing nice. No more tearing up for Robyn or Kody, especially when it comes to the land drama. And Kody? Crying in front of Jen and Nathan? Seriously, how self-serving. Couldn't be more obvious. I didn't think I'd be so into this season, but honestly, watching the women finally find their footing is so rewarding. And Stonehenge? Good for you, Meri. What a moment. Oh, Meri really outed herself this time, didn't she? Throwing Janelle under the bus was as rude as it gets. Let's break this down. Meri's over here chatting with Kody and Robyn, casually mentioning that Janelle told her to be careful, clearly fishing for some sympathy points. But what Janelle actually meant was, hey, just so you know, here's the info so you don't get screwed over. But of course, Meri twists it into some story about Janelle being paranoid and scheming, trying to make her look like the villain who's out to ruin everything. Even when Kody and Robyn press her about what Janelle could have possibly meant, Meri's answer is classic. Throws up her hands and says, I dunno. Yeah, right, Meri, we all know exactly what you're doing. Now, she's worried Kody might screw her, but instead of being direct, she frames it like Janelle is this money-hungry mess who's after the lot. Enter Meri, with her I want an appraisal request, all while keeping that passive-aggressive tone going. It's a move straight out of her playbook, and I'm so over it. Let's be real, this interaction is nothing new. Have we all missed Meri's snarky little jabs? The sarcastic karma shirts, the constant needling to make Kody and Robyn squirm, the little digs at their expense. Remember when she arranged her move date to line up with her anniversary? Or when she got Kody on camera admitting he ended the marriage? Let's not forget she then slammed him on TV with a statement about abandonment. This is just more of Meri being Meri. She knows how to work the system and plays Kody like a pro. But throwing Janelle under the bus? Nah, are we seriously acting like Kody's some innocent bystander here? He already knows what Janelle's been saying, and he definitely knows she's been looking for legal advice. They've seen the footage before we even get a glimpse of it, so no, there's no bus involved here, folks. And even if Meri had thrown Janelle under the bus, which, let's be real, she didn't, Janelle has never been a friend to her. She didn't speak to Meri for over a year and only approached her when it suited her own agenda. Need we bring up the time Janelle tried to screw Meri out of her piece of the land back when she was in Kody's good graces? Yeah, Janelle wanted Meri out so she could get her greenhouses. So Meri's right, trust no one but herself. Honestly, Meri's playing the long game, and it's working. Meri would take him back in a heartbeat. Kody? Oh, he's still being a jerk to her. All this crocodile tear nonsense, pretending he's heartbroken over the end of their relationship, total BS. And of course, now Meri's starting to think maybe he's so torn up by her leaving that there's a chance for reconciliation. Yeah, right. She'd be all over that like a dog on a stake. But let's not kid ourselves. Kody's using her, plain and simple. This whole act is about him trying to look like the grieving husband for the cameras. It's all just a performance, and he's nailing it with the fake compassion. Meri, Christine, and Janelle have always respected each other's boundaries when it comes to their relationships and intimacy. But when Robyn came into the picture, it seems like she might have asked Kody things like, "Do your other wives do this in the bedroom? Do you like me more? Am I your favorite?" It's the kind of thing that the other wives likely wouldn't have asked, but Robyn seems to really enjoy being the favorite. She seems to try hard to make sure Kody feels special, almost as if she's constantly trying to be the one he chooses. I'm sure she probably heard that a lot from Kody, and over time, he may have started to believe it himself. That said, I don't think Robyn had to ask all that much. Kody probably told her how he felt without being prompted. And honestly, whenever Kody showed any affection toward the original 3 wives, Robyn didn't exactly hide her feelings. It seems likely they discussed where Robyn stood in comparison to the others. Robyn was new and exciting, and she certainly liked her stylish lingerie. She mentioned that her mother advised her to get her scent out there and find a man, which was an interesting piece of advice. She also seemed to follow the idea of treating her husband like her most important customer, which is definitely a different perspective. But I think Robyn enjoys boosting Kody's confidence, and she certainly admires him in a way that makes him feel special. Asking about preferences in a relationship, whether emotional or physical, is actually pretty normal. But Kody might have encouraged Robyn by mentioning things like how the other wives weren't as affectionate or adventurous, which could have made her feel like she needed to be extra attentive to his needs. It's clear that Robyn wanted to make Kody feel important, and she seemed to do whatever she could to make sure he felt valued, even while being respectful to the other wives. Oh, please, Christine and her family aren't exactly screaming spin-off material here. I'm not even sure if the show creators are lurking on the subreddit, but it sure feels like they're setting us up for a Christine-focused show. And honestly, who's interested? I'm only still watching this season because, well, I've already wasted this much time, so might as well finish it out. Maybe one more season, and that'll be the grand final. Honestly, it had a good run, and we can all move on. Now, a Meri spinoff, that's got more potential for drama. She's single, finding herself, or at least trying to, and running a B&B. There's some real content there. But the truth is, the whole thing should just wrap up. Without the rage bait duo of Kody and Robyn, I'm not sure anyone's tuning in. I hate to break it to you, but people tune in to watch Kody emotionally and financially destroy his ex-wives while he and Robyn play the eternal victims. That's the real thriller right there, drama that fuels anger, and frankly, that's what makes it interesting. Meri's jokes are something else. The kind of jokes that leave everyone around her feeling ultra uncomfortable while she cackles like she just cracked the funniest line ever. It's the kind of laughter that just won't Stop. Even when it's clear no one else is amused, she's still doubling down on the awkwardness. Honestly, I tend to just close my eyes during those moments when watching. She's built a reputation over the years for making comments that are cringingly uncomfortable, laughing them off as jokes while everyone else slowly dies inside. It's unbearable to watch. And Kody? Well, he's nailed it. He's always saying you can never tell if Meri's actually joking or if she's taking a veiled shot at someone. Spoiler alert, most of the time, it's the latter. The jokes are painfully passive-aggressive. And while Kody's obviously a jerk, Meri's the type of person who would make me steer clear if she were in my friend group. But you've got to give her credit for being able to laugh through the most absurd interactions with Kody&Robyn, especially when Kody's giving his signature glare and Robyn's pulling her sad puppy dog face. Meri finally seems to get that Kody&Robyn are toying with her, and the absurdity of it all really hits home. I mean, when Kody offers her a loft above his junk garage and acts like it's some kind of consolation prize instead of a loving marriage, you have to laugh. Same goes for when he downplays her lifelong dream of going to Stonehenge. Like, yeah, totally laugh that off. Her laughter, it's her way of staying grounded while the rest of them are completely out of touch with reality. Watching the episode where Meri moves, oh my gosh, the frustration. Seriously, I've tried so hard to get behind her, and I know a lot of others have too. But every time, I keep thinking, why on earth wouldn't she just pick the side of Janelle and Christine? It's so obviously the better side for her. But nope, instead, she keeps cozying up to Robyn and Kody, two people who clearly couldn't care less about her. Then she says something like, they're probably both lying a bit about Janelle and Robyn versus Kody. And I was like, hold up, no, you're not going to throw Janelle under the bus like that. Janelle might have ended up with nothing, but Meri, really? You think Janelle was the one messing with the money? That's so not it. Janelle has already lost her marriage and is about to lose whatever friends she has left. She's clearly not a good friend, which is why Janelle and Christine can't stand her. And honestly, it was beyond dumb for Meri to ever think Robyn was her friend. I mean, that's just stupid, but it would be even dumber for her to side with Janelle and Christine now, after seeing how they all played a part in that endless cycle of dysfunction. I still kind of wish they'd all just team up, but I get why Meri wants nothing to do with them right now. Maybe one day, when they finally realize Kody is the source of all their issues, they'll get it together, forgive each other, and move on. So I'm rewatching this episode where Grandma Annie moves in with Christine, and suddenly Robyn's all like, Annie's moving in. When are you going to ask me to move in? Classic Robyn, right? First off, it's honestly kind of hilarious how comfortable Alice is with flat out admitting she's jealous and desperate to move in. It's like Robyn's whole I want everything, always vibe has rubbed off on her, and now she's just casually putting it out there. No shame, no subtlety. Just, I want what I want, and I want it now. It does give you some insight into Robyn, though. She's the kind of person who doesn't exactly have a problem with being the center of attention or going after what she wants, regardless of how it looks. But then, here's the kicker. Robyn's never actually pushed for her mom to move in. Not back then, and definitely not now. You'd think that if she really wanted it, she'd be all about the idea of Alice living with her, or at least close by on Koyo Pass. But nope. Weird, right? Her mom's basically playing the same game Robyn does, but it's like Alice just doesn't fall for it. So what's going on here? Could it be that the student has officially surpassed the master? I mean, Robyn's playing the same game her mom taught her, but now Alice isn't biting. Or maybe Robyn just doesn't want the competition for her spotlight. Also, here's a thought. Robyn and Alice are cut from the same cloth. They're basically two peas in a manipulative pod. The only difference is I wonder if Alice might have set Robyn up to be as dependent on her as Robyn is now trying to set up her kids to be codependent on her. But here's the kicker. Robyn might not want her mom living with her, but who's to say she wouldn't pull the old manipulative tier move if Kody ever kicks the bucket, or if she just gets tired of him? You know, just to get one of her daughters to take her in. Why move from Vegas? Okay, I know why they moved. Dayton was heading to college in Flagstaff, and Sabin wanted to follow him. But seriously, why? So many of the adults and kids said they were happier in the cul-de-sac. Even though Sabin spent most of her time with Kody, Kotex, yes, I'm sticking with that name, was still way more involved with the kids. They all seemed so much more connected there. Yet, the original excuse for leaving Vegas was that it wasn't safe and they wanted to live somewhere cooler or whatever. Fast forward to the latest episode, and Kody's crying because he's the happiest he's ever been there. Make it make sense. I really don't get the constant back and forth with this family. Kody's impulsive. The guy is basically an adrenaline junkie, never content staying in one place for long. In reality, he probably only looks back at Vegas fondly because it's a distant memory at this point. If he went back to the cul-de-sac, he'd be bored out of his mind again. Next thing you know, he'd be scheming up some new plan to disrupt everything. Honestly, not having a job doesn't help either. Too much free time for trouble. Aspen summed it up perfectly when she said the family gets bored after a few years and moves again. She even asked Christine about it, but Christine didn't have a good answer. I think she might have believed that moving to a new place would magically fix everything with Kody. Big mistake. Will the 3 original wives ever address the elephant in the room? You know, the bad blood? I can't help but wonder where all the animosity really comes from. It's pretty obvious there are some serious grudges between them, but why? Maybe Meri wasn't exactly the warmest welcome when each of them joined the marriage, just a guess. But honestly, it seems like Christine really dislikes Meri. Like, the level of dislike is practically palpable. And Janelle? Oh, there's definitely some unresolved tension there too. So why don't they just confront it? I mean, who cares now? They've all split, so why hold back? If you listen to anyone who's been in one of these situations, it's clear what happens. The wives are forced into competition. They're all scrambling to win favor, each one trying to step on the others to climb higher in the hierarchy. Even the grandmothers, when they're interviewed, mention how awful it is when a new wife enters the picture. They'll casually say, "Oh, it gets better after about a decade," like that's supposed to make it all okay. But no, this wasn't just a Meri problem. This was a cult-induced patriarchal nightmare. As time goes on, the family narrative starts to stick labels on people, and Kody, the self-proclaimed patriarch, builds his little alliances. So Meri gets slapped with the toxic label, despite the fact that Janelle, Meri's own sister-in-law, mind you, tried to marry Meri's husband on Meri's birthday. Christine gets the princess drama label, and as these wives struggle to shake off their labels, they just get more frustrated, more trapped, more miserable. They've been taught to expect nothing but suffering, but of course, they're told it's their fault for not trying hard enough to be selfless. It's all nonsense. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.